Pain, though often feared and avoided, holds within it the seeds of growth and transformation. When ignored or dismissed, the initial sting of rejection may feel unbearable, as though it cuts to the very core of our being. But this pain serves a greater purpose, one that demands our attention and forces us to confront truths we might otherwise ignore. It strips away illusions and lays bare the vulnerability we often try to hide. Through this discomfort, we are compelled to ask deeper questions about ourselves, our expectations, and the narratives we cling to. The act of being ignored challenges the ego, that fragile construct built upon recognition and validation. It whispers to us that we are not enough, that we must prove our worth to others to feel whole. This pain is a teacher, revealing how deeply tied we are to external affirmation. It invites us to dismantle this dependency, to examine the ways we allow others' opinions to dictate our self-perception. It forces us to look inward, where the true source of self-worth resides. In the silence of being ignored, there is space for reflection, an opportunity to assess the roles we play in our relationships. Pain has a way of illuminating patterns that we might otherwise overlook. Are we seeking attention for the sake of validation, or are we striving to contribute meaningfully to the world? This distinction becomes clear only when we confront the discomfort of being unseen. And through this clarity, we are better equipped to realign with our values. Pain also teaches resilience, showing us that rejection does not diminish our inherent worth. The hurt we feel is not a sign of failure, but a signal that we are human, vulnerable, and alive. It is a reminder that our worth is not contingent upon how others perceive us. This realization is both liberating and challenging, for it requires us to stand firmly in our truth, even when others fail to acknowledge it. Through this, we learn to validate ourselves rather than seeking it from external sources. The lessons of pain often arrive unbidden, catching us off guard and leaving us reeling. Yet it is in these moments of discomfort that we find the strength to grow. Pain teaches patience, for healing is never instantaneous. It demands that we sit with our discomfort, resisting the urge to numb or escape it. This practice builds a quiet inner strength, a foundation upon which we can stand firm even in the face of future challenges. Being ignored stirs a sense of loneliness, yet this solitude can be transformative. It forces us to spend time with ourselves, to listen to the thoughts and feelings we might otherwise drown out with distractions. This introspection is crucial for self-awareness, as it reveals the ways in which we might be complicit in our own suffering. Pain teaches accountability, encouraging us to take responsibility for our reactions and the stories we tell ourselves about rejection. Pain also deepens our empathy for others, for it reminds us of the universal human experience of hurt and longing. When we understand our own pain, we are better equipped to recognize and honor the pain of those around us. This understanding fosters connection and compassion, transforming what once felt like isolation into an opportunity for shared humanity. In this way, pain teaches us that we are never truly alone, even when we feel unseen. Through the lessons of pain, we come to see the strength that resides within us. The hurt we experience does not break us. Rather, it reveals our capacity to endure, to rise above, and to transform. Pain is a crucible in which we are refined, shedding the parts of ourselves that no longer serve us and emerging with a clearer sense of who we are. This process is not easy, but it is essential for growth. Pain invites us to question our priorities and reevaluate what truly matters. It shows us where we have placed undue importance on the opinions and actions of others, and it challenges us to shift our focus inward. This shift is not selfish, but necessary, for it is only by understanding and honoring ourselves that we can show up authentically in our relationships. Pain teaches us the value of self-care, encouraging us to tend to our wounds and nurture our well-being. In the act of being ignored, there is a hidden gift, the opportunity to reclaim our power. Pain pushes us to confront our fears and insecurities, to step into our own strength, and to define ourselves on our own terms. It teaches us that we are capable of thriving even without the validation we once sought. This realization is a turning point, a moment of profound self-discovery that changes how we view ourselves and the world. Pain as a teacher is relentless, yet it is also generous. It offers us lessons we might never seek out on our own, lessons that shape us into stronger, more compassionate, and more self-aware individuals. It asks us to trust the process, even when the path is unclear. It encourages us to embrace the discomfort of growth, knowing that the pain we feel today is preparing us for the challenges of tomorrow. Through this, we come to see pain not as an enemy, but as an ally on our journey toward wholeness. The illusion of control is one of the most persistent and subtle forces that shape our perception of reality. It convinces us that through careful planning, meticulous effort, and sheer willpower, we can dictate the outcomes of our lives. This belief often provides comfort, offering a sense of order in an inherently chaotic world. Yet beneath this illusion lies the truth that much of what happens is beyond our grasp, shaped by forces larger than our understanding or influence. Recognizing this can be both unsettling and liberating, as it shifts our focus from external control to internal resilience. We often cling to control because it provides a sense of predictability, a buffer against uncertainty, and the fear of the unknown. The illusion is comforting, suggesting that if we follow certain rules or patterns, life will unfold in our favor. However, life has a way of disrupting these carefully laid plans, revealing the fragile nature of our control. This disruption forces us to confront the limits of our influence and challenges the narratives we've constructed about our agency in the world. The illusion of control also manifests in our relationships, where we may unconsciously attempt to shape the thoughts, actions, and feelings of others. We believe that if we say the right words or behave in specific ways, we can elicit desired responses. But people are complex, autonomous beings, influenced by their own experiences and perspectives. The more we try to control others, the more resistance we often encounter, leading to frustration and conflict that highlight the futility of our attempts. In the pursuit of control, we may develop rigid expectations about how life should unfold. These expectations create a framework through which we judge our experiences, often leaving us feeling disappointed when reality doesn't align with our vision. The gap between expectation and reality is a source of much suffering, one that grows wider the more tightly we cling to our illusions. Letting go of these expectations does not mean giving up. Rather, it invites us to adapt, to flow with life rather than resist it. The illusion of control extends to our environment, where we strive to create order and predictability. We organize, plan, and prepare, believing these actions will shield us from chaos. Yet nature reminds us of its unpredictability as weather changes, natural disasters occur, and ecosystems evolve in ways we cannot fully anticipate. These moments challenge our belief in our ability to dominate our surroundings and invite us to live in harmony with forces greater than ourselves. One of the most profound aspects of the illusion of control is its impact on our sense of time. We schedule our days, plan for the future, and attempt to optimize every moment, convinced that this will lead to greater fulfillment. However, the unpredictability of life often disrupts these plans, leaving us feeling unmoored. This disruption teaches us that time is not something we can control, but rather something we must navigate with awareness and flexibility. Control is also deeply tied to our desire for certainty, a fundamental human need that provides a sense of safety and stability. We seek answers, predict outcomes, and eliminate ambiguity, believing this will bring peace. Yet, life is inherently uncertain, and the more we resist this truth, the more anxiety we generate. Embracing uncertainty requires courage and a willingness to let go of the need for absolute answers, trusting instead in our ability to adapt and grow. The illusion of control often leads to overburdening ourselves with responsibility as we take on the weight of outcomes that are not ours to bear. This self-imposed pressure can result in burnout as we strive endlessly to manage what cannot be managed. Recognizing the limits of our responsibility allows us to redirect our energy toward what truly matters, focusing on the areas where we can make a meaningful impact. When we cling to control, we may resist change, fearing the unknown and the potential loss of stability. Yet change is an inevitable part of life, one that often brings growth and new opportunities. The illusion of control can blind us to these possibilities, keeping us stuck in patterns that no longer serve us. Letting go of this illusion allows us to embrace change with openness and curiosity, seeing it as a natural and necessary part of our journey. The pursuit of control is often fueled by fear of failure, rejection, or loss. This fear drives us to construct elaborate strategies to protect ourselves. But these strategies often become prisons, limiting our ability to live fully. Confronting our fears requires us to relinquish the illusion of control, trusting in our capacity to navigate whatever comes our way. This trust is not blind optimism, but a deep confidence in our resilience and resourcefulness. The illusion of control also affects how we view success and failure. We may believe that success is the result of precise planning and effort, while failure is a sign of personal inadequacy. This perspective ignores the role of chance, circumstance, and timing, factors that are often beyond our influence. By acknowledging these elements, we can approach both success and failure with humility, recognizing that they are part of a larger, unpredictable process. Ultimately, the illusion of control is a double-edged sword, offering comfort while obscuring deeper truths about life's complexity. It shields us from uncertainty, but also limits our ability to adapt, grow, and connect with the flow of existence. Recognizing this illusion invites us to shift our focus inward, cultivating self-awareness, flexibility, and a willingness to engage with life as it unfolds. In this shift, we find not only freedom from the burden of control, but also a deeper sense of peace and purpose. A mirror to self-worth reflects not only our physical image, but also our inner sense of value, purpose, and identity. It is an internal gauge that informs how we feel about ourselves and how we interact with the world around us. While the mirror we look into each day reflects our outward appearance, the true reflection of self-worth comes from within, shaped by our thoughts, beliefs, and experiences. It is a deeply personal and subjective perception of who we are, independent of societal standards or other people's opinions. Cultivating a positive sense of self-worth is crucial for mental and emotional well-being, as it determines how we navigate life's challenges and embrace our uniqueness. Self-worth is often rooted in the messages we receive from those around us, especially in our formative years. Our families, friends, and teachers can either reinforce or diminish our sense of value through their words and actions. Children who grow up in environments where they are consistently valued, loved, and encouraged are more likely to develop a strong sense of self-worth. Conversely, those who experience criticism, neglect, or emotional invalidation may struggle with self-esteem throughout their lives. These early experiences leave lasting impressions that shape the way we view ourselves, often influencing our confidence and ability to pursue dreams later in life. However, self-worth is not solely shaped by external validation. It is also something that can be nurtured and developed over time. As we grow older, we have the opportunity to reassess the beliefs and values that inform our sense of self. This process of self-discovery involves questioning old narratives, confronting limiting beliefs, and reframing how we see ourselves. By engaging in introspection and self-reflection, we can start to recognize our strengths, talents, and positive qualities, which are often overlooked in favor of perceived flaws. This shift in perspective enables us to rebuild our self-worth from a place of inner truth rather than external validation. In the face of challenges, it becomes even more essential to hold on to a strong sense of self-worth. Life is filled with obstacles that can shake our confidence, whether they are failures, rejections, or personal setbacks. When we tie our worth solely to our accomplishments or how others perceive us, we risk losing sight of our intrinsic value when faced with these challenges. However, when we see ourselves through the lens of self-worth, we understand that our value is not contingent upon success or external approval. This realization helps us maintain resilience and perseverance, knowing that setbacks are simply opportunities for growth rather than reflections of our worth. The mirror to self-worth also involves learning to set healthy boundaries. When we truly value ourselves, we become more attuned to what is acceptable and healthy in our relationships and interactions. We begin to say no when necessary, prioritize our well-being, and protect our energy from negative influences. Setting boundaries is an act of self-respect, and it is through these boundaries that we reinforce the understanding that we deserve to be treated with kindness and dignity. As we grow more confident in our worth, we become less willing to tolerate mistreatment or allow others to undermine our sense of self. Self-worth is also closely tied to the way we speak to ourselves. The language we use internally has a profound impact on our self-esteem. Negative self-talk, such as criticizing ourselves for mistakes or comparing ourselves to others, diminishes our sense of value. On the other hand, practicing self-compassion and speaking to ourselves with kindness helps to nurture our self-worth. When we embrace self-acceptance, we are able to acknowledge our imperfections without judgment, recognizing that they do not diminish our inherent value. This positive internal dialogue fosters a healthier relationship with ourselves and encourages us to continue growing. Another key aspect of self-worth is the ability to accept and love ourselves unconditionally. We are often our own harshest critics, focusing on our perceived flaws and shortcomings rather than celebrating our strengths and accomplishments. However, embracing self-worth means acknowledging that we are worthy of love and respect just as we are. It involves letting go of the need for perfection and accepting that mistakes are a natural part of the human experience. The self-love is not about being narcissistic. It is about recognizing and appreciating our unique qualities and treating ourselves with the same care and respect that we would extend to others. A strong sense of self-worth also allows us to form healthier, more filling relationships. When we value ourselves, we are less likely to settle for relationships that are toxic or that diminish our sense of self. We are able to choose partners, friends, and colleagues who respect and appreciate us. And we are more likely to establish relationships based on mutual support and understanding. Moreover, by recognizing our own worth, we become more empowered to express our needs and desires in relationships, ensuring that our boundaries are respected and our voices are heard. Self-worth is not just about how we see ourselves in the present moment. It also involves recognizing our potential and believing in our ability to achieve great things. When we believe in our worth, we are more likely to pursue our dreams with confidence and conviction. We understand that setbacks and failures are part of the process, but they do not define us. Embracing our worth encourages us to take risks, step outside our comfort zones, and reach for goals that may have once seemed impossible. It instills a sense of possibility and hope, reminding us that we are capable of achieving whatever we set our minds to. To cultivate and strengthen our self-worth, it is essential to engage in regular practices of self-care and self-compassion. Taking the time to nurture our physical, emotional, and mental well-being reinforces the idea that we are deserving of love, care, and attention. Whether through exercise, meditation, hobbies, or simply taking moments of rest, these acts of self-care are reminders that we are valuable and worthy of nurturing. Self-compassion involves treating ourselves with understanding and patience, particularly during times of failure or struggle. By forgiving ourselves and offering encouragement, we reinforce our self-worth and create an environment conducive to growth and healing. One of the most empowering aspects of self-worth is its ability to transform our perspective on life. When we view ourselves through the mirror of self-worth, we approach challenges with a sense of purpose and confidence. We are no longer defined by external achievements or the opinions of others, but rather by an inner knowing of our value and potential. This shift in perspective allows us to live more authentically, making choices that align with our true selves rather than seeking approval or validation. It encourages us to embrace our unique journey, knowing that we are worthy of the life we envision for ourselves. Rejection is often seen as a painful and discouraging experience, one that many would rather avoid. It's a natural response to feel disheartened or disillusioned when faced with rejection, whether it comes in the form of a job offer declined, a personal relationship that doesn't work out, or an idea that isn't embraced by others. However, rejection, rather than being a final setback, can be reframed as redirection, a necessary part of the journey that can ultimately lead us to more meaningful opportunities. When we view rejection as redirection, it allows us to transform the experience into something valuable, pushing us toward new paths, growth, and self-discovery. The first step in seeing rejection as redirection is to shift our mindset. Instead of focusing solely on the negative emotions tied to rejection, we can choose to reframe it as an opportunity for improvement or self-reflection. Rejection may be a signal that we need to adjust our approach, refine our skills, or reassess our goals. By choosing to view rejection as a lesson rather than a failure, we free ourselves from the limiting belief that rejection is a reflection of our worth. It is simply part of the process of learning, growing, and ultimately finding the right fit for us. Often, rejection can be the universe's way of guiding us towards something better. When we experience rejection, we may feel the immediate urge to dwell on what went wrong or ruminate over the missed opportunity. However, with time, we may realize that the rejection served as a catalyst for something better that we could not yet see. Perhaps the job that we wanted wasn't the right fit, and the one that follows aligns with our passions and values. Perhaps the relationship that ended made space for a healthier, more fulfilling connection. Rejection creates the space for redirection, allowing us to move beyond the things that weren't meant for us and opening the door to new possibilities. Rejection also provides an opportunity for self-reflection and growth. When faced with rejection, it is important to ask ourselves what we can learn from the experience. Were there areas where we could have improved? Did we approach the situation with the right mindset or attitude? Taking time to analyze our actions and responses enables us to grow and refine our skills, making us more prepared for future opportunities. Rejection is a reminder that growth is an ongoing process and that each experience, good or bad, contributes to our evolution as individuals. One of the most powerful ways that rejection can redirect us is by encouraging us to step out of our comfort zone. Often, the things we desire most are outside our usual scope of experience. When we encounter rejection, we may feel compelled to reassess our approach or try something entirely new. This forced change can be an opportunity for us to take risks, explore new avenues, and embrace new challenges that we might have otherwise avoided. Rejection can push us to expand our horizons and explore opportunities we may never have considered before. At times, rejection acts as a protective force, sparing us from situations or outcomes that could be detrimental to our well-being. It may be hard to see it in the moment, but rejection can be a form of self-care. For example, being turned down for a job or an opportunity may seem disappointing, but it could be protecting us from a toxic work environment or an unfulfilling role. Similarly, rejection in relationships may save us from emotional pain or toxic dynamics. By reframing rejection as redirection, we can appreciate that, in many cases, what we perceive as a setback may actually be a safeguard that prevents us from something that is not in our best interest.